Good morning, friends. It's great to have you here. I hope your day is off to a good start. I'm sitting here on a Thursday shooting this, and it's going to be a full face video. Get ready with me. We're talking about some new makeup. I've got it grouped together for myself here. There are some things I've purchased. There are some things I've received in PR. Maybe not every single thing is going to be brand spanking new, but a lot of it is pretty new. And yeah, I'm just grateful for a new day and happy to be here with you all. And I wanted to share something that someone had posted on Facebook recently. This is actually something that has stuck with me every single day since I've read it, and someone had posted a quote from somebody that was basically words to the effect of, there are people who may have that very basic need, people who need a car to get around, and you have one and you just don't stop thinking about the next best one you can get. There are people who want to live around their family members, and you do, but you don't take time to talk to them, or like just all these different things where it's like you may have the thing that somebody else is praying for, but are you being grateful for it? And I talk about gratitude journaling a lot. I think living life with a grateful heart is the only way to do it. Romanticizing your life, going through your day, seeing all the little things that happen and thinking like, wow, this is a delicious cup of coffee that I'm having this morning. Man, I'm glad all my lights work. What a blessing to have this makeup to work with. I just hope that we're living life fired up about whatever blessings surround us. Sometimes we just chalk it all up to being, oh, that's just little stuff, but it's big stuff. So cheers to that, and thanks for being here today. So I have something in my eye, and I have all my skincare on, and I was sent this by Goop. They sent this whole range of Protect Tint Daily SPF Tint. It's got SPF 50 in it, little tinted moisturizers. They say on the box it's a skin tint that feels almost too good to be true, and it comes in 14 shades, which for a tinted product seems really rare to me. Sun protection with a barely there feel, light coverage for a visibly even, smooth complexion with a natural finish. So let's see how this goes. I do love Goop SPFs just in general. I still need to do a restock of the one that I use, the Every Single Face watery lotion. I love that for under makeup, but what I have been using, just because I'm like, let's use what we have. I'm trying to keep that mentality a little bit more. I had this Bare Minerals Skin Longevity SPF 30 with the Phyto Vitamin C Brightening Moisturizer. That's what I have been putting on as my SPF. But here's this. The shade I picked out to wear is what? 32N. So it feels like, just to squeeze it out of the bottle, it kind of just felt like the texture of your average foundation. Thin, but not especially runny. I've got that patched all around. It's maybe a hint deeper than my true skin tone, and it's just a squeeze tube. Did I say that? I'm gonna take my little e.l.f. brush here and just begin blending it around. The SPF 50 in this, I mean, that's a great additional SPF to have. I could maybe go a shade lighter, but it's so lightweight. It is a light coverage product. It's pretty forgiving, I feel like, as it's blending in. It's looking really good. A lot of radiance on top of my skin. I would say it's less runny than that CoverGirl one I was just using. Where's that? I just reviewed the Clean Invisible Makeup, CoverGirl's remake on clean foundation, and that was more runny than this actually. They're giving a really similar, like, blended out look. You can see that radiance kind of coming off the cheeks, although this doesn't feel really tacky. I think this is a little lighter coverage than that, but it's giving you that SPF 50 as well. I'm gonna need to play with this some more. I think this is a great casual face product, but it's kind of like, where do your priorities lie? Because you can get that added SPF 50 in an It Cosmetics CC cream and any number of finishes that you choose, you know, the illumination, the regular, the matte, and it can give you a lot more coverage. This is giving you a much lighter look and feeling really, I guess, manageable would be the word I'd use on my skin. Like, you wouldn't have to set the heck out of this. It's feeling nice and light. And then for concealer, I don't have a brand new concealer, so I thought I'd pull out one that I could stand to use a little bit more. This is my Sephora Best Skin Ever Glow multi-purpose concealer with a luminous finish. Shade is 20. It feels weird to use a concealer with a regular size doe foot. Everything's got the big foot, the buck foot. I will crack up laughing if I ever see a doe foot applicator marketed as a buck foot, if they actually use that terminology. Maybe I'll raise my hand and say, hey, who'd you hear say that? Okay, so I'm just gonna blend this around. I thought this might be a nice kind of matchup with the tinted moisturizer. I just thought all the lightness would work well together. This is not a full blend. This is just a spread out. Nice and brightening. Okay, and then I can just dab with my larger side, and that's when we really see what we're working with here. That looks nice. Not the fullest of the full coverage, but also something you could pull up and look really closely at my skin and be like, I don't even know if there's makeup there. So it's like, what kind of win do you want to have with your look? If you don't need a ton of corrective coverage from your concealer, I mean, this is a really pretty one. And obviously Sephora line is a little less expensive than your Natasha Denona's and all the others. But that really leaves me happy about the coverage level at this point. And then we have a setting powder. I don't know if I've talked about this in a video yet. I don't think I have. The Benefit, it's called the Professional Power Powder. I think I got this around the time I got the new Makeup Forever powders. Packaging wise, I feel like we're beyond this Benefit. Unscrewing the lid and just having powder everywhere. Like, we need those mechanisms that lock and do all the things, especially if we're paying high end prices for it. But this appears to be, you know, softly tinted. They're talking about the pores with it, and I'll definitely be setting my T-zone and paying attention to how that looks. But I'm going to use this on my under eye area too. Bub had to leave today at 3:30 to drive to near Lexington, Kentucky. Oh, shout out Erica. Kitten, is that you? Anyway, he had to take a doctor's deposition out there. So hopefully he has safe travels today. I immediately feel like, wow, really smooth from the powder that I just put on the under eye, but not at all brightened. Didn't step up my brightness whatsoever. I'm gonna take another little brush and just dust away anything excess. There's not a lot. Nose looks great. Yeah, I'm not seeing pores, but I'm also not looking drastically different than I do when I put Maybelline Fit Me over that area. But this feels a little lighter, like there's a little more just that slip in the powder, you know what I mean? Like kind of HD setting powder type of vibe. I'm gonna get a little more on the brush and just kind of let that go all over my face. And by the way, I didn't grab the Morphe Under Eye Bullet brush. This is just a little brush from Profusion here. It's called the Round Tapered Powder Brush. I think it's one of the ones that comes in the little set. It's like the Under Eye Bullet, just more flexible. I just wasn't paying enough attention when I grabbed. Okay, skin feels very uniform and even all over. Packaging leaves something to be desired there with the lack of anything blocking those holes. Looks good on T-zone, looks a little blurring maybe even on some fine line areas. But I just noticed as soon as I went over the under eye, because I had a little tackiness there, so I think it kind of grabbed the powder, but it didn't really brighten me up in that zone. Next up, we're gonna be moving into a little face palette here in a second, but I need to use some kind of contour bronzing product. I pulled out my Say. This is the Dew Bronze in the shade Spritz. I noticed Say has a cute little set of like a 3-pack of blushes among the holiday kits. And they look good, but I do already own one of those shades. And that's what I want to caution you on. A lot of these brands are putting out maybe some of their existing colors in some of the holiday kits. And you do need to be aware of that and decide whether or not it's a good value for you to go on with the set if one of the shades is kind of like a shade you don't need. Because I kind of learned that the hard way with my little Too Faced face palette. I had 3 of the 4 shades in the palette. I didn't know they were doing that. I just like got excited about the face palette and thought, ooh, need to try that for the holidays. Get it. And I'm like, I own 3/4 of this palette. So check and see. Check and see what shades are there. And I see this a lot like with the Sephora Favorites kits especially. I'm like, ooh, that looks good. And then I check and I'm like, oh, that's the shade I already have of this or that. And sometimes it holds me back. As you can see, this blends easily. This is a product that has a decent amount of moisture in it. And I feel like it's not a problematic like stickiness, but we do get a little dewy sometimes from it. I feel like this is kind of a no-fail step. Like this product always looks good, always blends easily, really seems to be the right tone for me. Now from Tarte, I got one of their little face palettes and I do love the way this packaging looks. Isn't that like dreamy? I love that. They have the Glow Squad Amazonian Clay palettes and this is the volume 2. And I'm gonna do a quick search on what the volume 1 looks like. Volume 1 is even deeper, like 2 darker blushes. In hindsight, like I wish I would have had that. I thought with this I'd be getting more of a multitasker. I thought it was going to be blush, bronzer, highlights, and the other one looks just like 2 blushes, 2 highlights, when in reality this does not operate like much of anything. These look like baked, kind of domed up powders. They feel really thin and barely there to the touch. Not the creaminess of a Laura Geller powder, not the creaminess of an Hourglass powder. Okay, just know that. But like this shade, I don't know, it just seems like sheer gold. I'm gonna try to do a little topping off with that at my hairline. All shades contain glow though. I don't know, it's like I can't really detect it. I needed it to be more of just stay in your lane, be a bronzer. And instead I just get this like goldeny, transparent, barely there, little bit of shimmer. I don't know. I just don't know what to make of that, guys. I think they're trying to be like a snapshot of an Hourglass palette, but that shade is doing very little for me. And right here, I'm sure I'm like loading it up, and then I'll see myself in the rear view of the car and be like, why did you put all those layers of shimmer on? Let's do the blush. We have no other blush on our cheeks right now. Let's see how this does. Really true classic pink there. And I picked up a decent amount on my brush, and I'm seeing it. I'm intrigued to see how this lasts all day because these powders seem so like light. I'll be surprised if there's a lot of adherence to the skin, but that, well, just through my brush, that turns out to be a pretty color there. In my ideal world, this would have been blush, actual usable bronzer, one highlight, one setting powder. And then they could have sold it for less money than Hourglass sells their ambient lighting palettes, and we could have maybe had a really cool find. But again, with the textures, they're very just light and just like, psst. The need to build is there. I'm just not wowed. You can get a classic pink blush from CoverGirl Cheekers, you know, and it feels creamier than this. It takes less building than this. Then we got these highlighters. The one is like icy, and it does give off a lot of metallic look there. The one on my pinky has a bit more rose gold in it. But ultimately, they're just looking like two really glitzy highlights. Let's take some of this. Okay, a lot of excess taps off. That's kind of what this palette is about, is the glow factor. If you're not all about the glow, just know 50% of this is a strong highlighter. And then this thing's just glowy sheer bronze. Not really giving you the contour sense, and then the blush is all right. It's not awful. I mean, my skin looks really, really radiant now, and I can get into that. At the very least, I just wanted that to be a bronzer that I really felt like I could use as bronzer, because this had the potential to be such a handy little palette. And I'm not nuts about the textures. I think they feel really, really dry. If you're not caring that much about highlighter and glow, then don't go for this. M Cosmetics put out a lovely mist. It's called their Divine Water Perfecting Mist. And the packaging is really cool, like this kind of clouded bottle. I like that. It smells so good, by the way. The mist is perfection, okay? No big droplets. Just a fine mist, but not so cloud-like that you're wondering if you're even feeling it. And the smell of it, I don't even know how to explain the smell. It's like what you think springtime should be. I don't know, like, it's so soft. It's not like you're blasting your face with perfume, but some of these setting sprays I love the smell of so much, like MAC Fix Plus. Obsessed. Different like Mario Badescu sprays. I love this one. It has that X Factor, hard to put your finger on scent. It did not make me tacky. I think it made things look a little bit more just one with my skin. That highlighter's looking a little more lived in now, if you know what I mean. For brows, I do have one new thing. Like I was sent these from ABH. It's the Volumizing Brow Gel, Tinted Brow Gel in the dark brown shade. And I was talking about in a recent video how I feel like they copycatted Maybelline Brow Fast Sculpt with the brush, and this is just from Sephora. This is a little Sephora retractable brow pencil, medium brown. So this is just like Sephora's dupe of Brow Wiz that I'm using right here. But yeah, this product's okay. ABH always does really well with shade range, and I think that's sometimes where different drugstore brands may fall short here and there. Is like they've got a great product, but did they put it out in as versatile a shade range as Anastasia did? But we'll get there in a second. For now, we're just filling in. Sorry, my nail polish is chipping off. I need a good like standard nail polish that can stay on really well. This is like my go-to shade. This is an old Revlon color. Revlon I don't think even sells nail polish anymore, but I have this shade. It's kind of metallic. Can't even remember what it's called, but I keep it on hand because it always dries really, really fast. So if I need to redo my toes, I just like boop, slap that on real quick because it dries like a flash. And I do have my Le Mini Macaroon set that I should just sit down and say, you owe yourself this time. You know, you can take this quiet time and do your nails. It's not like that takes that long. And it certainly lasts better than just average nail polish. It's like a little gel system. But it's nice to just be able to do your nails real quick with one nail polish, one little step, and just say, okay, I'm done. I do like those little ones from Cure that are like nail perfecting veils and stuff, but they're usually lighter shades, and I'm wanting to kind of get into my fall vibes, you know? Maybe they have a deeper color I could use. So I've got these filled in, and now I'm just gonna brush through. And then this is definitely cute packaging with the ABH. You can see the color there at the bottom. Like I said, I'm dark brown. And what I meant by copying, I don't know that they literally copied Maybelline, but Maybelline did do this style of brush first with the longer bristles and then the shorter bristles. So you feel like you could use the shorter side to deposit some product and the longer side to like rake it through. But I do find it kind of hard. The long side still seems pretty goopy with this. I just put it here and I think I got too much. ABH is going to be like, well, that'll be the first and last product for her in a while. All right, this is how we do on this channel. Not everything's a winner. It might just get a whole lot better for me as I keep using it, and then the brush won't be so goopy. But it does feel like it's holding my brows up. Milani Eyeshadow Primer. I do have a set of eyeshadow palettes that I got from Tarte, and I have used all 3 so far. But I think I want to do a little bit more of a dedicated video at some point, or maybe some shorter videos. I'm just not sure. I don't want to pack them into this video. So I have a different new palette that was sent my way. This is from Buxom. It's their Forever Babe Iconic Nudes eyeshadow palette. This is what it looks like. It's a super basic palette that doesn't get too warm at all. In fact, it stays pretty cool. We've got 4 mattes. These 2 are mattes. And these 2 are mattes, and then some shimmers that are kind of like murky brownish bronze. And I thought I'd do a look with this today and just kind of see how it goes. I'm gonna take this Dusty Rose. Not much fallout at all, that's good. And we're hitting the crease. I've been doing a lot of neutral shadow this week, but if you want some color, refer to Fall Eye Week. That was fun. A lot of people wanting a holiday eye week as we get closer to Christmas, and I think that would be great too. Using some real glitzy stuff, you know, having fun with it. This is a really soft rosiness, like, can you even tell? I'm gonna build it up a bit more, see if we can. The shadows being easy to work with, I can see that. Just a little bit of Dusty Rose coming through that area. I've worn this palette a time or 2 and it was good. Not like off the charts, blowing me over type of goodness, but it was good. I'm using some of this matte cream, as I would. Just going up here, smoothing. It's a smoothing step. I'm going to take this second to darkest shade, it does have shimmer, and just see how dark that goes here on the outer lid. Cool brown, maybe hint of bronze in it, shimmer. Seeming a little patchy in the way that got on there. Maybe it's just because it's shimmery and I'm just not going to get the evenness that I would have with matte. It's okay. You know, it's just okay. I'm going to work in some of the darkest now too. I think it's matte. It's like I get my brush into it, it seems matte. I thought maybe it had a little satin finish perhaps, but yeah, it's behaving like a matte. And I'm just layering up, you know, on the very, very outermost part. And then smaller brush, and we can shape this a little bit more, and we will use that second darkest shade for that. I really like using the next shade up to get a soft lift. See what we're doing there? See the difference in the eyes? Boop, boop. Makes an impact. We're going above the crease line, blending up and out. This palette is behaving all right, and a lot of people may enjoy the fact that the shimmers aren't like packed with filler, sparkle, fallout kinds of stuff. But at the same time, it's not got a lot of uniqueness going on for me. You can find cool dark browns with a little shimmer in a lot of places. It's calling itself an iconic nudes palette though. I'm just blending over that with my crease brush. I am having a good experience on blending there. Very cool. Taking a smaller brush, and I'm gonna go to this color at the end of the row. It's just got a little less brightness than that. And then we could go dimmer with that one. I'm taking this shade so you can see how a light shimmer behaves. Really nice and smooth. Slightly overlapping the darkness. It's just one of those things. I mean, like, do you ever use a product and you're like, there's nothing particularly wrong with this. I'm just not in love. That's just kind of where I'm at. Getting a little light there on the inner part of the lid, and it's doing fine. Okay. And then I can take my lightest shimmer and pop it right here. There we go. And in my Lawless video, I talked about their new liner pens, and I'd used the brown, but I thought today maybe I'll use the black. This is a brush tip pen, by the way, really easy to control, and I feel like it's very nicely paced in terms of the product not feeling like it's just streaming out of the pen. I might do a little wing. Why not? It's chic. It's cool. Hi, kitten. Nothing wrong with that liner pen. Dries to a matte black. I have not encountered any staying power issues with it yet, although I have not yet put it through tears and water and different things, but so far so good. I've just been wearing these for a few days. And then also from M Cosmetics, they put out a new mascara. It's a tubing mascara. Packaging is chic. They also sent a lash curler with that, and the brand on this is Equumal, EQUMAL. It does a fine job. I think this lash curler's claim to fame must be that it opens really wide. You don't have to try to get your lashes into it. Like, it's very easy to just sit it there and then get it on. Like, if I were ever going to try to curl someone else's lashes, this would be one of the easier ways to get it done. So I've just been trying this on and off a time or two, and it seems like it does a good job. I'm pulsing a little bit, but you can really get right to your lash line, and definitely no question that you're getting every lash in there because of how wide, how big of a bite it takes. My question on this mascara, it's called the Shape Shift Tubing Mascara. It's short rubber bristles. It's very cleaned off. There's not much of a shape. There's maybe a tiny pinch to the center of the brush, but not much. My thought on this was, is it holding my curl very well? I'm not sure. I was concerned a couple days ago that it kind of did not, like when I look back on my makeup later in the day, but I'm not quite ready to say that yet, because maybe it was the lash curler not curling as well as Shiseido. It's got good mechanics, that lash curler. I love how wide it opens, but I feel like the Shiseido might really get the curl going a bit more. But it's building up all right there with just one coat. We'll do the other eye. It's just crazy how big it opens. You go to do it and you think it's gonna be like that. It's like, rah. Is anybody like talking about M Cosmetics anymore? Like, I just don't hear the brand coming up, and they have such good stuff, generally speaking. Like, when they launch something, it tends to be really nice. Like, I need to get back into my little serum blushes with the droppers, and I use my stick contours still quite often. They just have really nice quality. Their little eyeshadow palettes are so good. Kitten's back there messing with the garland like it's her job. One coat and feeling like, just okay. Going in for 2 coats, and that's where I kind of feel like, all right, now I'm seeing some stuff. See that? More length, more thickness. I'm gonna go to the bottom with it too. Remember, it's tubing, so shouldn't be a staying power concern down there. I don't know if it's just the fact that we're in the heart of pumpkin spice season, but I look at this eyeshadow and I just think, meh. Am I just demanding and requiring subconsciously more warmth for me to feel good about it? I mean, I like cool eyeshadow. I think with your second coat, you might want to build it up a little bit faster. There's a little drag with it. I think I might have let it get a little too dry in between. I am now seeing a little more thickness. A little bit thicker. This mascara is not an immediate like woo-woo for me, but it's not bad either. Granted, there have been some mascaras recently that we really hit it off right away, but that's not always the norm for me. Like, sometimes I gotta keep using them a while, and then I'm like, oh, I'm starting to have a good experience. Next up, for lips. I want to talk about these from Makeup Forever. Did you know that they put out an extreme version of their lip liner? So typically they're packaged like this. They have that kind of wooden looking stick, and now they've got the Artist Color Pencil Extreme, and they do wear a really long time. I was kind of comparing these to Rimmel Lasting Finish though, and saying those last a really long time too. But I know these shades are kind of iconic, especially the Wherever Walnut and the Anywhere Caffeine. Those have just gotten so popular. I think I'm going to do some Wherever Walnut today. The thing about these, there's probably a little better glide than there is with the Rimmel Lasting Finish, and then they set. But Revlon too. I mean, Revlon Color Stay. Exceptionally long wearing lip liners. About like this stuff, you know? Man, I'm gonna need to sharpen that. But I think people are just loving these shades. So again, this is the Wherever Walnut, all filled in. And then I think I'm gonna take one of my Tower 28 Lip Softies. These were reviewed in another video if you want more details. They're really cute. But I just want something feeling good on top of my lips. We got this nice little spread. I'm gonna take this one, the Sugar Plum. This is the one like limited edition shade in the set. This set really worked out well for me. These are all in the regular line, and I didn't already own any of them. So that turned out to be a really good value for me, I think. This is kind of Your Lips but better. I think it's gonna be so perfect on top of this. Oh, they feel so good. And it smells amazing too. Fruity berry sweet. Don't worry, I caught it. Nice juicy lip. And the nice thing about those Makeup Forever liners though is like you can go putting something slick on top and you'll still feel like, yeah, the liner's still clinging in. But Revlon Color Stay gives me that too, and so does Lasting Finish. I'm bumping these lashes up a little bit and they're looking a lot better. Maybe the curler just wasn't quite enough for me, but that helped some. I think I need more blush. Just need a little more blush to feel happy about this. Going back to this. You can just tell they're dry by the way your brush sounds going into it. But that's pretty color. This has just been one of those looks for me, you guys. Like, not everything's a winner. Not everything's something I'm really excited about. Like, in review, just as far as the new things go, I did like this. And I think I'll continue to use this. And I think this is a handy product to have. SPF 50, lightweight, easy blend, made my skin look good, didn't feel overly sticky. I like this and I'll continue to work with this. I love the smell of this mist. The Divine Water Perfecting Mist. I mean, did it really perfect? That's maybe not the word I'd choose. I get why brands love to use that word, but I do think it made those really dry powders kind of look more one with my skin once I put that mist on, you know? So I like those two items. There were a couple of things that I used that weren't brand new, like the Say and the Sephora concealer. You know, those are good products. You did a good job, guys. But, you know, just not really the focus of the video. I'm not big on this. I don't like the packaging. I think they should have stepped it up. It did look pretty across larger planes of my face and T-zone, but if I'm gonna have a loose powder on hand and I don't feel like it's functioning well on the under eye, it's not of that much use to me. This, it bums me out because this could have been such a great little well-rounded palette. At least if they gave us bronzer here that really felt like bronzer, but it doesn't. There are times where, and I know I'm like, who am I? I'm just like this girl in Southern Illinois who's obsessed with makeup, but like if I could have had a 15-minute phone call with Tarte over this, it could have been the more accessible, lower cost, but still really good option compared to Hourglass. But could they smooth up the texture? I really, all in all, don't think that's a great texture in there. This, just okay for me. Just okay. Giving me that cool neutral eye. There's nothing wrong with it. The product's blended easily. They're shades that I'm sure are appealing to a lot of people. I'm just not floored by it. Give me Lawless Dreamy Dozen, okay? This mascara, good but not great, but I'll keep trying it. And this, not wowed by this either. That's just how the cookie crumbles sometimes, my friends. Whether I was sent something in PR or not, like I will give you my honest take on it. And a lot of this stuff was PR and a lot of it was not that amazing. So what can I say? We need videos like this every now and then. So thank you for your time. I hope you still found this enjoyable. I think the finished look ultimately turned out fine. You know, it's just with so much makeup on the market, we have our rights to be picky. We have our rights to look critically and say, could this have been done better? Is there something better than this out there right now? Is there something cheaper than this? So yeah, I still had fun. Anytime I'm in this room, like we talked about gratitude at the start of the video, I'm grateful to be here, grateful for the products, happy to be doing what I do, no matter how it turns out. It's the experimentation that's really fun for me. So thank you again, my loves. I will see you again very soon. I love you. Bye.